For what feels like forever, the Kansas City Chiefs have basically been the final boss of the NFL. But this season, something is definitely off, and it's making everyone ask the one question nobody thought we'd be asking this soon. Are we actually watching the end of the Chiefs dynasty? Let's get into what's really happening in KC. Ouch. This is how one NFL insider apparently summed up this year's team. I mean, that is just a brutal, straight-to-the-point assessment. But when you really look at how they've been playing, you kind of have to wonder if he's got a point. Seriously, it's a wild turn of events for a team that has been the gold standard for half a decade now. So what in the world has gone so wrong for the reigning champs? Let's dig in. To really understand how big of a deal their struggles are right now, you first have to remember just how insanely dominant they've been. That history, that context, is what makes their current situation so jaw-dropping. 3. That's how many Super Bowls the Chiefs have won in just the last 6 years. Think about that. They've been a fixture in the championship game, an absolute monster of a team. I mean, the textbook definition of a modern dynasty. And, well, here's the reality of 2025. Just take a look at the AFC West standings. The Chiefs are sitting there at a perfectly average 5-5. And not just that, they're in third place, looking up at the Broncos and the Chargers. This is just completely uncharted territory for this team in the Patrick Mahomes era. Their season really got off on the wrong foot with 2 losses right out of the gate, and that includes the international game they played down in Brazil. Now, more recently, they've dropped 2 straight games. These aren't just blips on the radar. You have to see them as the first real, visible cracks in the foundation of this incredible dynasty. So, if you had to point to the single biggest problem on the field, what is it? Well, it all comes down to how they're playing when the game is on the line and the pressure is at its absolute highest. 0. That's how many games they've won this year that were decided by a single possession. They are 0 for 5 in these nail-biters. The exact moments where champions are supposed to shine and separate themselves, yeah, those are the moments where the Chiefs are just consistently coming up short this year. And just so we're all on the same page, these one-possession games where a single touchdown can tie it or win it, they're the ultimate test of a team's clutch factor. It's where execution and mental toughness mean everything. And for the Chiefs this year, it feels like that championship magic has just disappeared. Okay, so the stats tell one part of the story. But what about the people inside the league? You know, the coaches, the executives. What are they saying about the Chiefs' sudden drop-off? Let's see what they're pointing their fingers at. Here we go. Here's a quote from an anonymous NFL executive, and they go right after the supporting cast around Mahomes. They're talking about the offensive line, the receivers, and they even point out that the legendary Travis Kelce isn't quite the unstoppable force he used to be. The bottom line is the pillars holding Mahomes up seem to be showing some serious cracks. And then you flip over to the other side of the ball. A defensive coach highlights their failure to execute in the biggest moments. They're not getting stops when it matters most in the red zone, they can't get off the field on third down, and the pass rush isn't getting home. These are the kinds of fundamental breakdowns you just don't see from a championship team. So the diagnosis from inside the NFL seems pretty clear. The core around Patrick Mahomes has gotten older, key guys like Chris Jones are having down years, the O-line isn't protecting their superstar, and the defense, which has bailed them out so many times in the past, just isn't playing at that same elite level anymore. Now, those insider opinions are pretty damning, but let's see if the hard data, the actual numbers, back up what they're saying, especially when it comes to that defense. The numbers here tell a really interesting story. So their red zone defense has slipped a little, from 8th to 10th. Okay, but look at their third down defense. Sure, they've technically improved from 26th to 23rd in the league, but that still puts them in the bottom third of the NFL. It's a massive weakness, and it explains why they just can't seem to get their defense off the field when they need to. All right, after laying out all those problems, it's easy to feel like this season is just a total loss. But is it? Is there any path for the Chiefs to actually turn this whole thing around? Let's talk about the reasons for hope. And the answer is, yeah, despite everything we've just gone over, you can never, ever, ever write this team off. To underestimate them, even with how they're playing right now, would be a huge mistake. There are really 3 main reasons for some cautious optimism. First and foremost, the Mahomes factor. He's a generational talent who can single-handedly win any game, period. On top of that, the offense is still trying to get on the same page with some new players, and hey, despite the struggles, there is still some serious talent on that defense that could click at any moment. But let's be crystal clear about this. Their margin for error is gone. It's 0. Winning the division feels like a real long shot right now, which means every single game from here on out is basically a playoff game. A few more losses, and they could find themselves on the outside looking in come January, which is something that has been totally unthinkable for years. And that's really what it all boils down to, isn't it? We all know Patrick Mahomes is a magician, maybe the best player on the planet, but this is the ultimate team sport. With so many other parts of the team struggling, is his incredible, singular talent truly enough to save this season and stop a dynasty from falling apart?